The Dreams PS4 Thermometer explained. What is up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Check them out on my channel. For playlists, you can find individual things like how to sculpt, how to make music, and how to do logic if you're rushed on time. So pretty much let's explain this. The thermometer is basically how long it takes for the game to load data into the scene. So it's really just a real-time loading bar. It's a real-time loading bar. Now, how can we thoroughly explain this process and show my theory of how it's working with plausible conclusions of how and facts of why? Well, if we were to clone this, notice that the thermometer doesn't go up by 50 on the graphics. That's because this Darth Vader character has already been loaded into the scene. So it's easier for it to load it back whenever we clone it, because it's actually taking from the original clone right here a data that's already been loaded into the scene, or it's taking it from somewhere else within the scene. But why is the gameplay going up so fast? I believe gameplay is the thing that's actually going to raise the highest or the quickest within your games. And the reason why is because it's actually the logic, the connectors, and the animations. So whenever we clone that, it's cloning all the logic, all the connectors, and all the animations. And we can see it because it's actually going up by every time we actually duplicate it. So this is pretty much the AI. This is pretty much what makes your character your character. This is what makes events happen in the game. This is going to raise the easiest. And that's what you should be watching out for. Not the graphics and not the audio, but you should be watching the gameplay meter, because that's the easiest thing to stack up and rack up. The graphics will always load once pretty much something is in the scene. So let's say we have an object like this. Why doesn't it keep going up by 1 every time we stamp it? Why did it only go up by 1, and why is it sometimes subtracting? The reason it's sometimes subtracting is because it's already been loaded into the game. Since it's already been loaded into the game, it's easier to find the data for these objects. Music is another constant, because music is most likely always going to be present in your games. However, it should never take up that much on your thermometer, because you usually don't have 1,000 instruments playing. You should always worry about music the least within your games. And that thoroughly explains the thermometer of what I've found out for it so far. Again, this is early access. They could actually add things to the thermometer since VR support's coming out. So we could get more added on to this, but it's really not that complex, guys, because pretty much with landscape, let's say we're trying to build land or some stuff for the scene. It raised it by +8, but if we keep going, it shouldn't go up by another +8 because the data's already been loaded into the scene. Notice that even if I raise Darth Vader and upsize him, it doesn't go up too much on the graphics because the data's already been loaded into the scene. However, even upsizing doesn't even increase the gameplay because the gameplay, the logic is already there. However, if I was to clone it, then it would increase the gameplay. Now, when you hit a limit, you can actually lower the limit by actually going to the tweak menu of the sculpture or whatever it is by pressing L1 and square and lowering whatever it says. There's also a tutorial on how to lower the tweak menu. You can look up that tutorial. Somebody else, he comes to my channel sometimes. He's awesome. Very great tutorial. I'm pretty sure other people have made that tutorial too. So in the comment section for an FAQ, tell me and the community what you guys have found out about the thermometer and how you guys think it works, because I would love to know, because it would help us better finalize our games. Now I'm going to talk about how you can actually use the thermometer to sculpt your games. So gameplay, all this stuff, how does this all come down into making your game? Well, let's think of something simple. Let's say there were 5 of the same enemy somewhere on this mountain. Somewhere on this mountain there are 5 of the same enemy. We know that pretty much the graphics won't be affected too much because it's the same enemy. However, the gameplay would most likely be stacked. How do we actually make it to where the character actually runs into this enemy and we're not wasting too much gameplay on the thermometer? We can use things like maps. We could use things like paths if you don't want to make logic gameplay. Let's say you already have too much gameplay into it in your thermometer to actually make a map, a mini map. And then if you were to make a mini map, it would raise it up even higher. Well, you can actually make a path on the mountains that the character can actually follow, and then he would run into the enemies. This is things that you can do to kind of finalize your game and make your game to where you're not wasting stuff within the thermometer where things will all go for waste, unless there's secrets and stuff, of course. So, I hope this better explains things and how you can kind of think of things to actually get things done in your game. And remember, it's just a real-time loading bar. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the playlist that should pop up soon if you need more time choosing if you would like to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.